You're watching Famous Games on YouTube.
Hi, my name is Dave. You're watching the Short Vol Show live, broadcast live from Cape Cod, Massachusetts, home of the Pilgrims. As we confront another Monday morning, the VIX currently up 96 cents, which I would mostly attribute to what we like to call weekend effect. This is a sort of tracking error that occurs pretty much every weekend where on a Friday afternoon, the VIX is somewhat lower than you would quote-unquote think it would be, and then on a Monday morning it is slightly higher than you would think it would be. I would speculate that if the markets are pretty close to unchanged right now, with the E-minis down 6, the Nasdaq up 22, and the Dow futures down 120. I would speculate that the VIX will fade back to unchanged or go negative if we just stay in this area for the first couple hours of the session. You will notice that with the VIX up 97 cents, futures are completely flat right now, and that's not surprising either. If you look, everything kind of makes sense in this picture. The market's flat, futures are flat. The only thing that doesn't make sense is the VIX up 97 cents. And once again, I would attribute this to weekend effect, and we should see that kind of dissolve over the first couple hours of the trading session. I want to talk to you about a couple things today. One of them is the position I put on Friday. The second is a question about I seek your thoughts on a question about a new person or a person who's new to the trading world and what kind of advice you would give to them. And I also just want to talk about kind of where we are in the VIX. So let's get started on everything right now. All right, so I put this position on Friday, and I was kind of a little bit hesitant to actually talk about it, in a public way, just because like I'm a little nervous about it, and I almost feel like superstitious, like the market makers who are on the other side or who are making markets, someone might be watching this and might try to stuff me on this trade. But anyway. I put this kind of aggressive trade on. I think it can work out, but I was already like having buyer's remorse almost immediately. What I did was I bought in VXX. I bought 800 of the June 7 puts. Okay, so VXX is 17 right now. If you ask me if I think that VXX could get to 7 by June, I would say no. So you might ask, well, why did I buy $8,000 worth of the 7 puts? And this kind of goes to what I talk about a lot with options, and I like to talk a lot about how you don't want to sell an option for too cheap, because regardless of what it is, especially months out, because regardless of how unlikely it is for something to occur, owning an option gives you an amount of leverage over 100 shares of an underlying. And so if you sell an option for like 10 cents, let's say, out 200 days out, you're not really getting anything in return for giving up this potential leverage, right? So in my mind, if I look at an option on the screen that I would never, ever, ever in 100 years want to sell, well, the flip side of that is maybe I want to buy some of those. So my thought is that VXX is extremely unlikely that VXX could get to 7 by June expiration. However, it could get close, right? And these options, I was watching them for a while. With VXX up around 20, this put was trading around, it was like 9 bid at 13, and with VXX rolling down a couple bucks, this option has not moved at all. Now, at some point, if we keep moving lower, it will go up in value. The question is, how quickly do we move down? Do we move down quickly enough for this option to actually move up in value, or is it just going to be so far out of the money that it's just going to crumble into dust? That is kind of the question here. So anyway, so I bought a bunch of these 7 puts for 10 cents, right? And the hope is to, actually I shouldn't use hope, my risk manager used to tell me not to use the word hope, but the idea is that either to sell these out at a higher price at some point a few months down the line, or to use them to sell something against, to finance them and to make money off of. So the problem, or the initial problem is that my account immediately goes down by over $500 when I buy these options, because with my commissions structure, you know, buying 800 options, I pay 65 cents an option, so that's over $500 in commissions just to put this position on. If we look at the Greeks real quick for this, now a way out of the money option like this, it doesn't act like these Greeks are not going to be too accurate, because such a, you know, it's a very hard option to price when you've got something way out of the money, months out, and so these Greeks are not going to be accurate. But just to look at them for a second, and let me say, actually, to start with, that I've already sold some stuff against these options to start to help to finance them. So let's bring up the Analyze tab, and we'll take out the other trades, and we'll just isolate that one trade, which is long 800 of the June 7 puts in VXX. I left the TV on in the background, so I apologize. Alright, so if we take the other trades out, this, it shows me being short 1,800 deltas in VXX right here, costing me $100 a day. If we look at this, let's reset this. Down 10%, it shows me making $4,000 and shows me short 2,900 deltas. Up 10%, it shows me losing $2,600. Now, the reality of the situation is these numbers are probably not real, right? If we were to pop, they would pop volatility. Remember, all these options are on a skew. So the likelihood is that if we were to pop, this option is not going to move. And if we were to go lower, it's not going to move for a while. At some point, it's going to come to life a little bit. But these Greeks are going to be a hard way of pricing this stuff. And the other aspect of this is just like how much open interest is there on this strike, and how, you know, they can put up a market that's a couple, you know, that's 2 or 3 cents wide, but where could you actually get out of 800 of these options? Well, it's not going to be so easy, right? So there's a bunch of things at play here, but it would be, you know, phenomenal if VXX were to roll down to, like, you know, 13, 12, 11, 10 in the next, I don't know, 200 days. In the next 100 days, let's say in the next 100 days we get to 13. Well, this option could come to life. It could double or triple in value, and that's my that's what I'm kind of gunning for with this position. Now, if we do some quick back of the napkin math, right? Let's go to our term structure here real quick. So I'm going to go to VIX Central. Now, contango right now is the highest it's been in some time, right? Let's pull it up here. And I'll get out of the way for a second here. So contango currently is 9.67%, right? It hasn't been that way all the time. In fact, if we go to a historical contango chart here, like you've seen me do before, we can see, yes, it's we're in positive contango here, but it hasn't been this way all the time. You can see it got pretty high up here and then it went down again. But let's just conservatively, let's very conservatively say contango is 5%, okay? So if you were to do the math, 10% of, let's call this 17. 10% of 17 would be 170, right? So so that's 170 divided by 2 is 85. So 5% of 1750 would be 85 cents. So that means that if contango stays here, this product is decaying by 85 cents a month. Okay. So 85, if we've got 200 days till expiration, let's do the math here. So let's call that 6 months. So 6 months times 85 cents. Now this is very raw math, right? So 6 months times 85 cents is $5. So if contango is at 5%, this should decay by $5 in 6 months. Okay, so that would bring us from 17 to 12. Now, would this option get up and move above 10 cents if this were to move to 12? If it moved to 12 right now, they certainly would. But if it moved to 12 over time, this option could just kind of stay where it is. So 5% contango and everything stays the same, this is a loser position. However, if vol were to come in, let's say the VIX goes down 5 points in the next few months, well, then that would give this position a real chance. So we'll have to monitor this moving forward. Like I said, I'm a little sketched out. I have a little buyer's remorse on this position, but be that as it may, I'm currently owned 500 June 7 puts in VXX. So we'll see how that works. Okay, now one more thing before I let you go for the trading day. I had a friend fund a trading account. He's never traded before, and he immediately just wanted to buy something and was going to buy. I think he was going to buy either Moderna, which he funded the account and kind of realized it was funded after the close Friday. Now, if he had bought Moderna, he would have made money. Look, it gapped open here. However, what would be your advice for somebody who's brand new to the market who wants to get into trading? For me, I've had a lot of friends that got into trading and they bought some stock and it went straight up and they felt like they were a genius, and you know, that kind of beginner's luck thing. For me, I really don't want to give advice to someone who's just starting out of like what to buy. You know, my standard advice is buy an index fund, but you know, that's boring to people, I understand. But my advice for somebody new would be to just kind of explain to him a little bit about the market. For example, I would explain that the S&P is an index of 100 stocks, that about 80 of every $100 that are traded somehow go through the S&P or the SPX. So I would start to help somebody set up a screen of a watch list. So I would recommend that they put on the stuff we talk about, the E-minis, the NASDAQ, the Dow futures, and the S&P 500 when markets open. I might recommend they put up gold, but not necessarily. I might recommend they put up the VIX, but not necessarily. What would you do? How would you recommend somebody get started if they just, you know, took 10 grand and put it in an account and said, I want to start trading? It's a prickly thing. You know, my friend knows that I do a trading show and knows that, you know, I've had a career in trading, but it's very hard. You know, you don't want to like try to direct somebody, because my whole thing I try to impress on people is they've got to make their own path. So I guess the new person has to make their own path as well, but what would you give them as a piece of advice when they're just getting started? I guess that's my question. If you want to leave answer in the comments, that would be great. So let's see. Let them do exactly what they want. Yep, that's true. Yep, I like what Spencer says. Let them do exactly what they want. They're going to lose eventually. You know, maybe they'll have some good beginner's luck. Daswell says, get to know a few stocks really well. It will take years. Good luck. Yep, I like that. Hey, what's up, Bid by Tom? Welcome to the chat. What's up, everybody? Yeah. So and tell me what you think of my June 7 puts. I think that there's a good chance that they're going to crumble into dust, and I don't want to just puke them back out again. But I think I'm going to hold on the position and see what happens for a little bit. If we could get a couple nice weeks, like a week where we're down $2, another week where we're down $2, all of a sudden, it starts to make a lot more sense. It's one of those trades where, like, if we spike from here and VXX stays at up around 20 for a few months, then I look like an idiot. If VXX rolls lower and all of a sudden we're at 13 miraculously in a month from now, then I look like a genius. But either way, even if VXX gets to 14 really quickly, it still has to go down 50% to get to 7. So I have no illusions that VXX is never going to get to 7. But that doesn't mean that this trade can't work out somehow. All right, so there you have it for the morning. I hope you all are well. Have a great week, and let's think about what is going to be the next big catalyst for the market. I know it's we're kind of stuck on mRNA and these vaccine stocks, but what's going to be the next big thing for the market moving forward, and what's going to be the theme? Remember, I've said before, every morning when we come in, you want to think about, like, what's the theme that's developing for today? And a lot of times it can be just kind of a one-word answer. Right now, it seems to be just that we were down a little bit, and now we're kind of rallying back to unchanged. If I were to go on StockTwits really quick and look at what stocks are trending right now, which is a good way to kind of get a theme. What do we have? NKLA. NKLA down 5. Oh, all right, that's a theme. Bitcoin. Amazing, huh? I never would have thought Bitcoin would have had this this strength. Really, really incredible. I've been, a naysayer about Bitcoin for a long time, and I still am, just because I don't know how to value it. But really amazing how it's gotten so strong. Really amazing how there are people out there in the world willing to pay this kind of money for Bitcoin. For me, like I said, I just don't get it, so I'm staying away from it. What else do we have in the news? GME. GameStop. People ask me about GameStop a lot, and I usually decline comment because I don't know a lot about it. But let's see if we can go to our live news here and do some quick research on GameStar here. The holiday season just deals keep on getting better at GameStop, as the company just revealed its 2020 Cyber Week offers beginning Sunday. Blah blah blah. So I guess they're benefiting from being online and people buying games. What else do we have in the news here, really quick? LCA work. Let's look at NGA. What's NGA? Let's take a look. NGA, Lion Electric Company, announces merger with Northern Genesis. That doesn't mean anything to me. All right, I'm going to let you go. Thanks so much for watching today, and best of luck this week. I will be back on Wednesday. Enjoy your week. Safe trading. Hope you make $1 zillion, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
You're watching Famous.